Hello and very welcome everyone to this session of the current affairs. Today we are going to learn the current affairs of 22nd of March 2024. So let's start and see that what are the things we can learn from this day and what are the things we can add into our notes and into our general knowledge facts. So before we start, these are the topics I got covered for you in this session. And particularly if we talk about, so the topics are like this. So I've got some international news, banking and finance news, state news, defense news, science and tech news, sports news, obituary, awards and recognitions, and at last, I will summarize all the things for all of you. Before we start, the images used in our slide deck are for educational purpose only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. So first news that we today have with us is International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, March 21. So racial discrimination is a process that has been prevailing in the world earlier a lot, and in today's world it has been a little bit of less, but not particularly eliminated. So to create awareness to eliminate the racial discrimination thing between the people, between the black and white people, between the brown and white people. So for this purpose, 21st of March is dedicated to the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. Um, if we talk about a particular day, so International Day of Elimination of Racial Discrimination is observed annually on 21st March to create awareness about the challenges faced by the people of African descent. The day promotes a global culture of tolerance, equality, and anti-discrimination. The theme for 2024 is a decade of recognition, justice, and development. Implementation of the International Decade for the People of African Descent. United Nations General Assembly proclaimed 21st March as the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination in 1966. The first ever observance of the day was on 21st March 1967. So do remember that International Day of the for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination 2024 is March 21, and it is aligning with the celebration of Navroz, and apart from that also the vernal equinox. Another one, Operation Indravati to evacuate Indian nationals from Haiti begins. So India has launched Operation Indravati. Just to add to your memory, Indravati is also a river in our country. It flows in Chhattisgarh, and particularly it also creates a fall that is called Chitrakoot Falls, which is known as the Niagara Falls of the Niagara Fall of India. So India has launched Operation Indravati to evacuate its nationals from Haiti due to escalating gang violence. So in Haiti, the gang violence was particularly prevailing in the whole system. So particularly to evacuate the citizens of our country who are living in Haiti, Operation Indravati was introduced. Armed gangs have attacked suburbs of Port au Prince, prompting the evacuation. Indian nationals are being relocated to the Dominican Republic. The US has also airlifted more than 15 Americans to Santo Domingo. So remember that Operation Indravati was introduced or particularly started to for the evacuation of the nationals from Haiti. World Day of Theatre for Children and Young People. So World Day of Theatre for Children and Young People is observed annually on 20th March to highlight the importance and impact of theatre for young audiences. The day aims to raise awareness of the transformative power of the theatre and performing arts in nurturing creativity, imagination, and empathy among young people. The campaign is led by the International Association of Theatre for Children and Young People, that is ASSITEJ International. The day is promoted through the message Take a Child to the Theatre Today. ASSITEJ International Secretariat is located in Copenhagen, Denmark. It is the capital of Denmark, with the registered office in Bologna, Italy. So, do you remember the World Day of Theatre for Children and Young People is being observed on 20th March. 20th March is also known as the World Happiness Day. Remember that. World Sparrow Day is on 20th March. So, World Sparrow Day is observed annually on 20th March to raise awareness about the importance of sparrows for biodiversity and the ecosystem. So, you must have wondered why we particularly have less number of sparrows, or why the sight of these type of birds is less these days. So particularly this is because of the change of the climate, so these sparrows are on the verge of being extincted. So the day was initiated to advocate the conservation of house sparrows and common bird species, and to celebrate biodiversity. The theme for World Sparrow Day is I Love Sparrows. The initiative was collaborative effort of the Nature Forever Society of India and Ecosys Action Foundation of France and other national and international entities. First World Sparrow Day was celebrated in 2010 and was being observed in over 40 countries. So do remember Happiness Day, Theater for Child and Young People, and the World Sparrow Day all are observed on 20th of March. World Water Day 2024. So World Water Day is celebrated annually on 22nd of March to highlight the importance of fresh water. This year's theme is Water for Peace, emphasizing the role of water in fostering global harmony. 2024 edition of the UN's World Water Development Report will be released today. The day holds extra significance due to the ongoing water crisis in Bengaluru caused by failed monsoons and drying groundwater resources. So do remember the World Water Day 2024 is being observed on 22nd of March, and the theme is Water for Peace. New Zealand bans disposable e-cigarettes and vapes. So the New Zealand government has announced a ban on disposable e-cigarettes and vapes. This decision follows the recent appeal of a law aimed at phasing out tobacco smoking. The ban is part of New Zealand's ongoing effort to reduce smoking and vaping related health issues. So you must be wondering that what is actually vaping. So actually the vaping is a kind of an instrument, like a cigarette. So it is an e-cigarette, and particularly some kind of fuel or something is added into this, so that particularly it works similarly like a cigarette. So there are some health issues regarding the e-cigarettes and vapes. So to particularly curb these type of things, the New Zealand has banned disposable e-cigarettes and vapes recently. So remember their name. So which country has recently banned the disposable e-cigarettes and vapes? That is New Zealand. India's first integrated oil palm processing unit began operations in Arunachal Pradesh. So, along with that, just to remind you, the India's first LNG based bus service was introduced in Maharashtra State Transport Corporation. So, India's first integrated oil palm processing unit began operations in the Arunachal Pradesh. So the 3F Oil Palm Private Limited started the commercial operation of India's first integrated oil palm processing unit at Roing, Lower Dibang Valley, Arunachal Pradesh. This factory is the first oil palm factory in Arunachal Pradesh and under the National Mission on Edible Oils. The factory includes a state-of-the-art oil palm processing and refinery unit, a zero discharge effluent plant, and a palm waste based power plant. The project aligns with the mission Palm Oil, aiming to make India self-sufficient in edible oils and encouraging domestic oilseed productions. The unit is designed to process fresh fruits bunches into high quality palm oil with a capacity of 10 metric tons per hour. So do remember that India's first integrated oil palm processing unit begins operations in Arunachal Pradesh. 6 Madhya Pradesh heritage sites included UNESCO's tentative list. So 6 heritage sites in Madhya Pradesh have been included in UNESCO's tentative list of World Heritage Sites. The sites are Gwalior Fort, Khuni Bhandara, Bhojeshwar Madhav Temple, rock art sites of Chambal Valley, historic ensemble of Dhamnar, and the Gond monuments of Ramnagar. Tentative list includes sites with outstanding universal value, either cultural or natural. These sites will be considered for nominations to the UNESCO World Heritage List. As of 21st March 2024, India has 57 sites in UNESCO's tentative list of heritage sites. So do remember that 6 Madhya Pradesh heritage sites included in UNESCO's tentative list. 46th UNESCO meeting is was held in New Delhi, and recently the 43rd UNESCO World Heritage Site was declared um, in Assam. And apart from that, recently UNESCO has already also declared the eighth wonder of the world, that is the Angkor Wat Temple in Cambodia. And apart from that, the some 6 major sites have been added into the tentative list of the World Heritage sites. Later on, we must be getting a particular site that is added into the UNESCO Heritage List, but no, for now they have been added into the tentative list. Last year, Gwalior was declared as the City of Music, according to UNESCO, along with the Kozhikode that was declared the City of Literature. C.P. Radhakrishnan took additional charge as the governor of Telangana and LG of Puducherry. So, Jharkhand governor, that is C.P. Radhakrishnan, took additional charge as the governor of Telangana on 20th March 2024. So, currently he is the governor of Jharkhand. Jharkhand Chief Minister is Mr. Hemant Soren, and C.P. Radhakrishnan took additional charge as the governor of Telangana as well. So he has been given the additional charge. So you must be thinking that how a person can be given an additional charge, as there is a point of one person, one post. The point is, under the 7th Amendment 1956, there can be one court can work mutually for 2 or more states. Similarly, one governor can work for 2 or more states. So this person, that is C.P. Radhakrishnan, he took the additional charge under that process, and now he will be holding the Telangana also. Telangana Chief Minister is Mr. Revanath Reddy. Now he has also been given the charge particularly of the LG of Puducherry, that is the Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry. He has also been given, because Puducherry is a union territory and the particular position there is Lieutenant Governor. He was administered the oath of office by Alok Aradhe, Chief Justice of the High Court of Telangana, in the presence of Chief Minister A. Revanath Reddy. Radhakrishnan also took additional charge as the Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry. He is the third person from Tamil Nadu to become the Governor of Telangana, following ESL Narasimhan and Tamilisai Sondra Rajan. Tamilisai Sondra Rajan resigned from her post as the Governor of Telangana and LG of Puducherry on 19th March 2024. So why did she resign? Because she has to contest the election from Tamil Nadu seat. So particularly she has resigned from her position. That is why C.P. Radhakrishnan was given this additional charge of Telangana as well as Puducherry. So remember his name. Guyana signs $23.27 million LOC agreement with the Exim Bank for aircraft procurement. So the government of Guyana has signed a 23.27 million line of credit agreement with the Export-Import Bank of India for procuring 2 Dornier aircraft. The agreement was signed by Ashni Singh, Senior Minister in the Office of the President of Guyana, and Sanjay Lamba, Deputy General Manager of Exim Bank. Under the LOC, Guyana will purchase 2 Dornier 228-201 transport aircraft from Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Recently, HAL, that is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, has been provided the status of Maharatna. This LOC aligns with the Indian government's commitment to modernize and equip the Guyana Defence Force for evolving security challenges. So remember, Guyana signs 23.27 million LOC agreement with Exim Bank for aircraft procurement. With this LOC, the Exim Bank can now has 292 LOCs with 62 countries offering credit worth $2.72 billion. SBI Card and Payment Services Limited in collaboration with the Titan Company Limited presented Titan SBI Card. So SBI Cards and Payment Service Limited in collaboration with Titan Company Limited has introduced the Titan SBI Card. This exclusion shopping credit card offers benefits such as cashback, gift vouchers, and reward points. Users can enjoy benefits worth over 2 lakh annually with this card. So do remember that SBI Cards and Payment Services Limited in collaboration with the Titan Company Limited presented Titan SBI Card. Policy Bazaar establishes a wholly owned subsidiary PB Pay Private Limited. So Policy Bazaar has announced the establishment of a wholly owned subsidiary named PB Pay Private Limited. Subsidiary will focus on payment aggregation services both domestically and internationally. The board of directors approved this initiative on 20th March 2024 pending regulatory clearances. So do remember the Policy Bazaar establishes wholly owned subsidiary PB Pay Private Limited. M.V. Rao elected as the new chairman of Indian Bank Association. So M.V. Rao, managing director and CEO of the Central Bank of India, has been elected as the new chairman of the Indian Bank Association. This decision was made during the IBA's managing committee meeting held on Thursday. So do remember M.V. Rao elected as the new chairman of Indian Banks Association. Naveen Jindal took over as the president of Indian Steel Association. So Naveen Jindal, chairman of the Jindal Steel and Power, has been elected as the president of the Indian Steel Association. He succeeds Dilip Omin, CEO of ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India. This decision was made by the Apex Committee, the governing body of the ISA. So remember, who is the president of the Indian Steel Association? That is Mr. Naveen Jindal. Ashwini Kumar elected as the new president of FIEO. So Ashwini Kumar, partner at Victor Forging in Jalandhar, has been elected as the new president of Federation of India Export Organization. He is well-known business entrepreneur and exporter from Jalandhar, Punjab, representing the engineering sector. So remember his name. His name is Ashwini Kumar, elected as the new president of FIEO. India tests indigenously made 1500 horsepower engine of MBT at BEML, Mysore. So India successfully completed the maiden test firing of its first indigenously developed 1500 horsepower engine for main battle tanks at BEML Limited in Mysore, Karnataka. So the power of an engine is measured in terms of horsepower, and 1 horsepower is approximately equivalent to 743 watt. 1500 HP engine is a symbol of revolutionary in military propulsion technology, featuring a high power to weight ratio and advanced electronic control system. What is the meaning of high power to weight ratio? That means particularly with generating power, it can also carry a lot of weight. So for that purpose, this engine will be very helpful. The engine can operate under extreme conditions, including high altitude, sub-zero temperatures, and desert environments. First test firing signifies the completion of Generation 1, focusing on technology stabilization, with Generation 2 involving various trials and integration into actual vehicles. This engine will enhance the power of Arjun Mk1A tanks and is expected to be completed by mid-2025. So do remember that India test indigenously made 1500 horsepower engine of MBT at BEML, that is the particularly by Mysore. UK successfully tested its first laser weapon, Dragonfire. So UK Ministry of Defence successfully tested the first ever laser directed energy weapon named Dragonfire at the Hebrides range in Scotland. Dragonfire achieved the UK's first high-power firing of a laser weapon against aerial targets designed to target and neutralize drones. The weapon system, supported by 100 million pounds sterling joint investment by MOD and industry, offers a cost-effective alternative to traditional missiles. Dragonfire will enhance air defense capabilities for both the Army and Royal Navy, engaging targets at the speed of light with pinpoint accuracy. System serves as a technology demonstrator, gathering data for the development of second generation weapon system with British component. So do remember that UK successfully tested the first laser weapon, Dragonfire. India joined hands with Mozambique and Tanzania for Trilet 2024 maritime exercise. So Mozambique is a country that you can find on the eastern side of African continent, just parallel or besides the Madagascar. Between Madagascar and Mozambique, you can find the Mozambique Channel. And Tanzania is a particular country that you can find in Africa continent. Tanzania is famous for two things majorly. One is the highest mountain of Africa is found in Tanzania, that is Kilimanjaro. Another thing, the longest lake in the world, that is Tanganyika, is found in Tanzania. And remember that Mozambique and Tanzania are joining hands with India for the Trilet 2024 maritime exercise. So India Navy will participate in second edition of India Mozambique Tanzania Trilet exercise, IMT Trilet. Exercise scheduled from 21st March to 29th March 2024. Indian naval ships INS Tir and INS Sujata will represent India in this trilateral exercise. The ships will engage in the respective navies at the ports of Zanzibar, Tanzania, and Maputo in Mozambique. So do remember that trilet exercise, that is IMT trilet, that is India, Mozambique, and Tanzania. Union Minister Amit Shah launches digital CCMS platform of NIA and Sanklan app of NCRB. So Union Minister Amit Shah virtually inaugurated the criminal case management system designed by the National Investigation Agency. That means this particular case system will be helpful in maintaining the particular data that which particular person has how many criminal cases. He also launched Sanklan app, a compendium of new criminal laws by the National Criminal Record Bureau. Two new branches offices of NIA were inaugurated in Jammu and Kochi, along with a residential complex in Raipur. CCMS aims to enhance coordination in terrorism, organized crime cases, aiding state police forces in investigation and prosecution. Sanklan app is designed to navigate new criminal laws and offers offline accessibility, available on both Android and iOS platform. So Union Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah launches CCMS platform of NIA and Sanklan app of NCRB. APBL in partnership with Noise and Mastercard launched Airtel Payment Bank smartwatch. So recently, the Airtel Payment Bank Limited launched the Airtel Payment Bank smartwatch in partnership with Noise and Mastercard. The smartwatch features near-field communication technology powered by Mastercard, enabling contactless payment directly from the smartwatch. Users can make payment between ₹1 to ₹25,000 per day at point of sale machine by linking the smartwatch with the Airtel Payment Bank account. The smartwatch also includes health and productivity features with 130 different sports modes and an IP68 rating for water and dust resistance. This is the first wearable device launched by APBL, aiming to democratize convenient financial solution. So remember that APBL, that is Airtel Payment Bank Limited, have launched Airtel Payment Bank smartwatch along with the Noise and Mastercard. China launches Kuiqiao 2 relay satellite for Earth-Moon communication. So recently, China have also launched 2-3 missions important. One is the Kuiqiao 2. Another one was Chang'e 6 mission that was dedicated for the purpose of collecting samples from the South Pole side of the moon and take them back to the Earth. And another one is Kiao 2. So just try to understand this one. So China National Space Administration launched Kiao 2 relay satellite for Earth Moon communication services from the Wenchang space launch site. Kiao 2 will enable communication link between Earth and Moon for more than 8 hours, supporting missions like Chang'e 4 and future Chang'e 6, 7 and 8 missions. Recently they have launched E6. The satellite, weighing about 1.2 metric tons, features a 4.2 meter parabolic antenna for lunar communication and a 0.6 meter antenna for data transmission to ground control. It carries three science payloads: an extreme ultraviolet camera, a grid-based energetic neutral atom imager, and the Lunar Orbit VLBI experiment. The launch marks the first deep space mission for the Long March 8 model and the third flight for the Long March 8 series. So remember, the China launches Kiao 2 relay satellite for Earth-Moon communication. CMFRI launches Maryland CMFRI app to help citizen science initiative in marine fisheries research. So the ICAR, Central Marine Research Fisheries Research Institute, developed the Maryland at the rate CMFRI app to encourage citizen science initiatives in marine fisheries research. So for the purpose of particularly telling about the fisheries research, this application has been introduced. App allow user to upload photos of marine fish species encountered in the Indian exclusive economic zone and provide geotagging for exact location data. This initiative aims to develop a visual repository of marine fisheries resource and AI-powered system for automated identification. This app was developed under the project of Aldo Verghese at the Fishery Resource Assessment, Economics and Extension Division of CMFRI. Marilyn stands for Marine Fisheries Machine Learning Routines and Indian Exclusive Economic Zone. So do remember that CMFRI launched Marilyn CMFRI app to help citizens science initiatives in marine fisheries research, to have data of all the type of fisheries and which type of fisheries are found in which type of economic zone, where and when. Another one, so India's first battery storage gigafactory to start operations in Jammu Kashmir. So recently, the Good Enough Energy has announced the commencement of operations at India's first battery energy storage gigafactory in Jammu Kashmir by October. The facility aims to help industries reduce over 5 million tons of carbon emissions annually. The initiative is the part of India's broader goal to achieve net zero carbon emission by 2070. So, India's first battery storage gigafactory to start operations in Jammu, Kashmir, and it is being developed by Good Enough Energy. You must have heard their name. They are the battery making company. Mustafa Suleyman, the new face of Microsoft AI division. So Microsoft has appointed British AI pioneer Mustafa Suleyman as the head of the AI division. Suleyman, co-founder of Google's DeepMind, will now report directly to Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella. So do remember the name Mustafa Suleyman, the new face of Microsoft AI division. Odisha CM Naveen Patnaik opened India's first indoor athletic center in Bhubaneswar. So, Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik inaugurates India's first indoor athletic center, state-of-the-art indoor aquatic hub at Kaling Stadium in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Center developed by Italian firm Mondo SPA features a 10,000 square meter track and facilities for long jump, triple jump, 100 meter, 200 meter races, pole vault, and shot put. Aquatic centers includes a temperature-controlled 50-meter Olympic-sized swimming pool and 25-meter warm-up pool with seating for 1,000 spectators. Facility developed for rupees 120 crore allows athletes to train year-round without weather disturbances and includes residential accommodation. Facility developed for rupees 120 crore allows athletes to train years round without weather disturbances and includes residential accommodation for full-time coaching. So do remember Odisha's CM Naveen Patnaik opens India's first indoor athletic center in Bhubaneswar. CM also laid the foundation stone for an indoor diving center featuring temperature-controlled diving pool and seating of for 8,500 spectators. So remember, Odisha CM was Naveen Patnaik opens India's first indoor athletic center in Bhubaneswar. This year, the Asian Championship of Hockey in women's category is also going to be held in India, and that is in Bihar. Nayana James shines at India Open Jumps competition. So Nayana James from Kerala secured the gold medal in the women's long jump event at third Indian Open Jumps competition. She recorded a personal best mark of 6.67 meter. The achievement comes nearly 7 years after her previous personal best of 6.55 meter. So remember, Nayana James, she is from Kerala and secured the gold medal in the women's long jump event at the third Indian Open Jumps competition. Remember her name? Her name is Nayana James. Frans de Waal, a Dutch American primatologist and author, passed away. So, renowned Dutch American primatologist and author Frans de Waal passed away at the age of 75 in Stone Mountain, Georgia, USA. He was a C.H. Candler professor in the psychology department of Emory University and director of the Living Link Center at Yerkes National Primate Research Center. De Waal, along with Jennifer Pokorny, received the Ig Nobel Award for Anatomy in 2012 and Penn E.O. Wilson Literary Science Writing Award in 2020. His notable books include Chimpanzee Politics, Our Inner Ape, and Are We Smart Enough to Know How Smart Animals Are? De Waal was known for his work on the origins of morality in apes and his contribution to understanding animal behavior. So remember, the Dutch American primatologist and author. That means he would particularly write books related to the prime apes. And as we can see with the names of the books, so his name was Frans de Waal and he was a Dutch American. Dutch are the people who belongs to Netherlands. Oscar-winning British screenwriter David Seidler passed away. So, Oscar-winning British screenwriter David Seidler passed away at the age of 86 in New Zealand. Seidler won the Academy Award for the Best Original Screenplay in 2011 for the film The King's Speech, and also received BAFTA Award for Original Screenplay and Outstanding British Film. His first screenwriting credit was in 1966 for the Australian series Adventures of the Sea Spray. Seidler also wrote the stage adaptation of The King's Speech, which premiered in London's West End in 2012. His notable work include TV movies like Onassis, The Richest Man in the World, and animated movies like The King and I. So remember the name David Seidler. He passed away. Ratan Tata received P.V. Narasimha Rao Memorial Award for philanthropy. So Ratan Naval Tata was awarded the P.V. Narasimha Rao Memorial Award for his outstanding contribution in philanthropy. The award presentation took place in Mumbai, Maharashtra, recognizing his extensive donation to charity, both individually and through Tata Trust. Ratan Tata has covered diverse sectors such as health, education, rural development, environmental sustainability through his philanthropic initiatives. He has previously received Padam Bhushan in 2000, Padam Vibhushan in 2008, and the Order of Australia in 2023. The award is named after former Prime Minister Pamula-Parthi Venkata Narasimha Rao and recognizes exceptional dedication to social welfare and humanitarian causes. So Ratan Tata has received P.V. Narasimha Rao Memorial Award for philanthropy. PM Modi honored with Bhutan's Order of the Druk Gyalpo Award. So Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been awarded Bhutan's highest civilian order, the Order of the Druk Gyalpo. He is the first non-Bhutanese to receive this prestigious honor. The award was presented by Bhutan's king Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk during the Modi's 2 day state visit to Thimphu. The Order of the Druk Gyalpo is a lifetime achievement award and is considered the pinnacle of Bhutan's honor system. So let's revise that what we have learned so far. So International Day for Elimination of Racial Discrimination is on 21st March. Operation Indravati to evacuate Indian nationals from Haiti begins. 6 Madhya Pradesh heritage sites included in UNESCO's tentative list. World Day of Theatre for young and children people, March 20. World Sparrow Day, March 20. World Water Day, March 22. New Zealand bans disposable e-cigarette and vapes. C.P. Radhakrishna took additional charge as the Governor of Telangana and Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry. India's first integrated oil palm processing unit began operations in Arunachal Pradesh. Guyana signs $23.27 million LOC agreement with Exim Bank for aircraft procurement. SBI Cards and Payment Service Limited, in collaboration with Titan Company Limited, presented Titan SBI Card. Policy Bazaar establishes wholly owned subsidiary PB Pay Private Limited. M.V. Rao elected as the new chairman of Indian Banks Association. Naveen Jindal took over as the president of Indian Steel Association. Ashwini Kumar elected as the new president of FIEO. India test indigenously made 1500 horsepower engine of MBT at BEML. UK successfully tested the first laser weapon Dragonfire. India joins hand with Mozambique and Tanzania for Trilate 2024 maritime exercise. Union Minister Amit Shah launches digital CCMS platform of NIA and Sankalan app of NCRB. APBL in partnership with Noise and MasterCard launched Airtel Payment Bank smartwatch. China launches Kuiqiao 2 relay satellite for Earth-Moon communications. CMFR launches Maryland @CMFRI to help citizens science initiatives in marine fisheries research. India's first battery storage gigafactory to start operations in Jammu Kashmir. Mustafa Sulaiman, the new face of Microsoft AI division. Odisha CM Naveen Patnaik opens India's first indoor athletics center in Bhubaneswar. Niana James shines at Indian Open Jumps competition, won gold. Francis de Waal, a Dutch-American primatologist and author, passed away. Oscar-winning British screenwriter David Seidler passed away. Ratan Tata received PV Narasimha Rao Memorial for Philanthropy. PM Narendra Modi honored with Bhutan's Order of the Druk Gyalpo Award by the King of Bhutan. And that's it in this session, guys. I hope you learned a lot of things and gained a lot of knowledge about India and the world and other things. So I will meet you in the next session, in which we will discuss some more current affairs and add something more into our general knowledge and our notebooks. And till the time we meet, bye bye, take care everyone, and see you soon.